YouTube team movies here. Since today is the birthday of one of the most iconic comedic actors of all time, Leslie Nielsen, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Leslie Nielsen movies. He has, Leslie Nielsen tragically passed away, 10 years ago, but man, that guy had one really interesting career. I mean, the guy went from dramatic roles to becoming like a comic superstar. That's not always that's usually rare. Usually, there's usually comedic actors who go from comedy to drama, but Leslie Nielsen did it pretty differently. So, and I mean, he's like one of the king of spook movies. He's been some of the most iconic comedies of the 80s, 70s, of all the decades. So, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Leslie Nielsen movies. All right. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with the film Wrongfully Accused. Now, this movie is actually a bit of like a parody of The Fugitive, and there's even a parody of of James Cameron's Titanic. And here you got Leslie Nielsen, who portrays this prone concert violinist named Ryan Harrison, where Michael York plays this guy named art partner named Hibbing Goodo, who ends up being murdered, and so Leslie Nielsen's character ends up being arrested as the main suspect, but he didn't really do it, but he's trying to clear his name and all. You got Richard Crenna as who's like the lead lieutenant, Fergus Forrest, who's like who's really on his trail and all that. And this movie it doesn't really have the best score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's actually pretty funny. Like I said, it is a spoof of The Fugitive and all that, and those fugitive-based movies. But it's a real classic comedy right here. Leslie Nielsen was hilarious. Michael York, who's of course best known for Basil in the Austin Powers movies, he was great. I mean, if you guys never really got a chance to see Wrongfully Accused, it's a really decent one. I mean, it got released in around the 90s, and it's a pretty fun film. All right. Coming in at number 9 is one of his most iconic roles, and that is The Poseidon Adventure. Now, this is the a disaster-based movie, and you got Leslie Nielsen, who portrays the nervous captain of the SS Poseidon here, and his character ends up he doesn't really have that big of a role because his character ends up dying throughout. But The Poseidon Adventure is one of the most iconic disaster movies of the 60s. You also had a great cast like Gene Hackman. You had you also had I believe Ernest Borgnine was also in this too. This had a really one of the most solid casts of the 60s, and it's one of the most iconic before Titanic came around. This was one of the most iconic disaster movies of all time. If you guys have really seen The Poseidon Adventure, it's a really good one. All right. Coming in at number 8. Alright, coming in. Alright, coming in at number 8, I'm going to go with superhero movie. Now, this is a spoof of the superhero genre. Now, this movie came out a little ahead of its time because the comic book genre is still around. This movie came out around the same year as the first Iron Man came out. But it did spoof a couple of the superhero movies, it spoofed Batman Begins, it spoofed Fantastic Four, but it's mostly a spoof of the Spider-Man genre. And instead of the character named Peter Parker or Spider-Man, the character is named Rick Riker, and he ends up becoming the Dragonfly instead of Spider-Man. And you've got Leslie Nielsen, who portrays an Uncle Ben, kind of similar to Uncle Ben in a way. And man, I like the scene where Leslie Nielsen's uncle character ends up getting killed. And you know how in the Spider-Man movies, Uncle Ben does his speech, with great powers comes great responsibility. I liked this one where when Leslie Nielsen is about to say that line, then Drake interrupts him and be like, and it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. Then Leslie Nielsen said, "I was gonna say Beetlejuice, but if you're gonna be a virgin, oh man!" And come on, and Leslie Nielsen and Kevin Hart. Whoever knew that was a comedy duo that I never thought that could work. And of course, Drake Bell from Drake and Josh played the lead role. You had Sarah Paxton in this. Chris McDonough played the Hourglass. I mean, superhero movie is also from the same producers of Scary Movie and Airplane, and it's also directed by Craig Mazin, who also was one of the directors and writers of Chernobyl. So there's that. But yeah, superhero movie. I just adore this film. It's really funny, entertaining. They need to do another one where they like spoof the modern superhero genres, like spoofing the Avengers and all that. But yeah, if you guys haven't really seen the spoof movie, superhero movie yet, go check it out. It's a really great one. All right. Coming in at number 7, I'm gonna go with Spy Hard. Now this is a spoof of the spy genre, James Bond in particular, and this even ends up spoofing stuff like other films like Sister Act, Pulp Fiction, and it even had really fun cameos by Ray Charles, Mr. T, Mr. Miyagi himself, Pat Morita, Peter Coe, Fabio, and here you've got Leslie Nielsen, who portrays Dick Steele, who's this agent WD-40, and this movie was pretty hilarious. I mean, you also had Desperate Housewife girl, Nicola Sheridan was in this. I mean, this is not as good as this film wasn't as good as, let's say, the Austin Powers trilogy, obviously, but man, Spy Hard is still a really funny one. Not Austin Powers funny, but it has some really fun laughs, really awesome, awesome cameos. If you guys haven't really seen Spy Hard, it's a 90s treasure right there.
Yeah.
Alright. Coming in at number 6, I'm going to go with Creepshow. Now, this movie Leslie Nielsen did a horror film. Like, whoever knew that he could really do horror well? And
I know.
And he appeared in the 80s horror. Wait, was it 80s or 90s? He was in the horror anthology Creepshow, and he was in the segment of Something to Tide You Over. And here Nielsen plays the role. Nielsen, I should say, plays the role of Pierre Vickers, who's this wealthy and ruthless man who really believes that his cold-blooded murderous stage is like in a terrible fate for his unfaithful wife Becky and her lover Harry Wentworth. And this is a really creepy role. I mean, he ends up explaining that they have a chance for survival, and if they can hold their breath long enough for the sand to loosen up, and the seaward covers, that they could break free and escape because they end up being buried and all. And I really quite liked his out for the good. Anyway, out for the story parts of Creepshow, I really quite liked the Leslie Nielsen one. He even had a little cameo by Richard Gere was in this. I mean, I gotta rewatch this movie. It's been forever since I've seen Creepshow, but the movie Creepshow is one of the best horror anthologies there is. If you guys haven't really seen Creepshow yet, go check it out. I mean, it's directed by George A. Romero, based on short stories by Stephen King. Creepshow is hands down awesome. All right. Coming in at number 5, it's one of Nielsen's iconic sci-fi movies, and that is Forbidden Planet, which is based on a classic book, and it is one of the most iconic sci-fi movies of our time, where Leslie Nielsen portrays Commander John J. Adams, and his crew ends up arriving to this distant planet named Eltar IV to discover the fate of the group of scientists and was sent there 3 decades earlier, and you got and not to mention Nielsen's character and his crew end up discovering that only 2 people, including Dr. Morbius, Morbius, played by Walter Pigeon, and his daughter Ateria, played by Anne Francis, were born on a remote planet, and so Adams ends up uncovering the mysterious of what happened to them and all. And this is one of the most iconic sci-fi movies of the 50s. This actually got released in 1950 something. I can't remember the actual year, but Forbidden Planet is one of the most coolest futuristic films. A great sci-fi adventure flick. And Nielsen, who knew that he could do a sci-fi well? Like, when you think of Nielsen now, you think of him as the straight-up comic guy, but him doing like a sci-fi movie like a Forbidden Planet is a really good one. If you guys haven't really seen Forbidden Planet yet, go check that one out. Alright, number 4, I'm going to go with Dracula Dead and Loving It, directed by one of the best spoof movie directors of all time, Mel Brooks. Now, this is one of the most iconic Dracula movies there is. You've got Leslie Nielsen portraying the role of Dracula. You've got Amy Asbeck was in this, Steven Weber. You even have Mel Brooks as Van Helsing. I mean, Dracula Dead and Loving It, it's one of the funniest Dracula movies there is. It's one of the most iconic, fun Dracula films. Leslie Nielsen portraying Dracula. I did my 10 favorite on-screen Draculas not so long ago, and Leslie Nielsen was in that list. Him portraying Dracula was just perfect watch, and yeah, this is also like a spoof of the iconic 30s Dracula film. If you guys haven't really seen Dracula Dead and Loving It yet, it's really funny. It has some great horror aspects to it. Really iconic one. Alright. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with The Naked Gun. Now, I'm only going to go with the one with part 1 and part 2 because the final insult was an insult to the franchise, and man, Naked Gun 3 was just... Yeah, anyway, Naked Gun 3 is just... Naked Gun 3 just sucks. I'll put it there. But the first 2 Naked Gun movies, with Naked Gun from The Fires of Police Squad, and Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, those 2 Naked Gun movies are awesome. And they even had O.J. Simpson in them. Yeah. But still, this is a spoof of the, of the iconic cop movies. And, I mean, Leslie Nielsen and, O.J., obviously this had O.J. Simpson before the, infamous trial and all that. I mean, yeah, besides being a football player, O.J. Simpson had actually acted before. He was in the Tower Inferno. Yeah. I mean, before he became before his famous trial, he had some interest. Like, he'd been in some interesting movies. Heck, he was even almost gonna play the Terminator at one point. Fun fact. But anyway, yeah, the first 2 Naked Gun movies, they're not great or anything, but they are just like the first one is great. But man, the first 2 Naked Gun movies are just fun. They are entertaining. Has some great funny moments in them. O.J. Simpson was actually even funny in this. Like, when you think of O.J. now, you think of the infamous trial, but he was actually pretty solid in this movie. And not to mention, you had Priscilla Presley was also in this. Who I believe is Elvis' daughter, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, yeah, the Naked Gun. The first 2 Naked Gun movies are just outrageously hilarious. Go check them out if you guys haven't seen them. Alright. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with Scary Movie 3. Now, Scary Movie 3, was directed by David Zucker, who was also one of the writers of the Airplane movies and all that. And I believe he was the son of the director of Airplane, so that's pretty cool there too. But anyway, yeah, Scary Movie 3. Come on, you have Leslie Nielsen as the President of the United States. And this is a spoof of, iconic, horror and sci-fi movies. It's a spoof of The Ring. Signs is a spoof of. I mean, and I really love, come on, Leslie Nielsen even put his, infamous airplane line of, we're both wishing, Both good luck. We're all counting on you. I mean, that was pretty funny to watch there. But yeah, Leslie Nielsen as the President of the United States, come on, that's one of the coolest things you'll ever want to see in movie history. And Scary Movie 3 is hands down just straight up awesome. You know, you had like heck, even celebrities like Queen Latifah, Eddie Griffin, Charlie Sheen, Fat Joe was also in this, Kevin Hart, Anthony Harrison. I mean, Scary Movie 3 it's not as good as the first two, obviously, but it's still really hilarious. Has some really funny moments. Lots of moments. I mean, come on. Leslie Nielsen ended up punching an old lady. Yeah, that was pretty messed up to watch. But it's Leslie Nielsen, so yeah. To me, this is probably one of my favorite like modern roles of his. This movie got released in 2003, and yeah, Scary Movie 3 is hands down just straight up awesome. And Leslie Nielsen, and come on, also him interacting with Anna Faris is pretty cool. And he ended up reprising a role for Scary Movie 4, which I quite like Scary Movie 4, but it's not really as good as the third one. But yeah, if you guys haven't really seen Scary Movie 3 yet, go check it out. It's a really fun. Me too. It's a really fun one. Thursday. Thanks. Anyway, sorry about that. Alright. Alright. Coming in at number 1, obviously my favorite Leslie Nielsen movie of all time. Don't Call Me Shirley, people. We all know what number 1's gonna be. It is Airplane. I mean, that's really the movie that really put him on the comedy map for most people. Airplane is... Who did not love Airplane? I mean, it is a spoof of the iconic disaster movies directed by Jerry Zucker, Jim Abrams, and David Zucker were all responsible for this movie. Come on. Leslie Nielsen really portrays... he portrays the, plane's doctor here, and it really showed like this was actually the movie that really put him on the map for most people. Like, he's been around before Airplane, obviously before like he did Forbidden Planet and Silent Adventure before this. But this was the film that really made lots of people go, yeah, Leslie Nielsen could do more than just straight up dramas. I mean, this guy has a comedic talent, and come on, you could just call him anything, but just don't call him Shirley. That's one of his most iconic lines there. And of course, Leslie Nielsen's iconic line of "We're all wishing you both good luck. We're all counting on you." I cannot do a good Leslie Nielsen impersonation. I mean, I just can't do that. But anyway, yeah. If you guys haven't really seen the first Airplane movie, go check out the first Airplane. I mean, you got it's just up. Anyway, I mean, you even got stuff like people like Robert Stack, Lloyd Bridges, Jilly Haggerty, who, by the way, was really good in Marriage Story. I just want to point that out. Anyway, yeah, if you guys never seen Airplane, it's one of the best spook movies there is. They don't really make spook movies as they did, like, back in the 80s and 70s. They had stuff like Blazing Saddles, Airplane. I quite find a disaster movie a bit of a guilty pleasure, but they don't make as great spook movies as they did when Airplane or Blazing Saddles was released. And yeah, definitely go check out Airplane if you guys haven't seen it. Check out the first Airplane. We don't really talk about the sequel. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Alright. 10, wrongfully accused. 9, The Poseidon Adventure. 8, Superhero Movie. 7, Spy Hard. 6, Creep Show. 5, Forbidden Planet. 4, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. 3, The Naked Gun. 2, Scary Movie 3. And number 1 is Airplane. Now, there's loads of other Leslie Nielsen movies I probably could have added. He's done some not so good stuff too. Like, remember Repossessed People? Yeah, I know what that. Yeah. Let's see. He was also in the movie Stan Helsing. He was in. Remember Mr. Magoo People? Yeah. Anyway, Nielsen was also in the original Prom Night. Remember the original Prom Night, people? Day of the Animals he was in. He was in I really love Stan Helsing, where he actually played a drag queen. I mean, I believe that was Leslie Nielsen's last major film. But Leslie Nielsen as a woman, come on, who did not love that one? Anyway, Project Kill he was in. He was in a movie called Spanish Movie, which is like a spook of Spanish films, which I literally never seen before. He was, remember, Kentucky Fried Movie he was in. Yeah, Leslie Nielsen, that guy was the man. And yeah, there's definitely not going to be someone else like Nielsen. But anyway, let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite Leslie Nielsen movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell. For more notifications, this is T Movies and RIP Leslie Nielsen.